In this guide, we will look at how to create a new teacher pathway record. To get started, ensure you have Home selected in the top navigation before selecting Teacher Pathway in the left-hand menu bar. Here you'll see a list of teacher pathway records for your current academic year. You can use the filters to navigate to a particular date or for particular staff members. You can also change the view to see records by you, of you, and your self-reflections. So initially we're going to look at how to create a self-reflection using the new teacher pathway record. So to do so, you need to click on Teacher Pathway and click Create Self-Teacher Pathway in the top right. Here you'll see the teacher pathway record in which you'll need to just click Create. Some of you may notice that I'm linked to multiple organisations. This is why I see the form duplicated. If you are linked to more than one organisation, please select Create for the school and the organisation you'd like to link this record to. As you land on this page, you'll see two visibility settings. By default, and our recommendations is to always leave it as visible. This ensures that not only will yourself see the record, but your senior line managers and managers with reporting access will be able to see your personal feedback. As we scroll through the form, you'll see you do have this optional with field. This is where you can tag an additional member of staff who will be able to upload notes or evidence even before the record has been submitted. The date defaults to today's date, but this can be altered to backdate to historic record or even push forward should you be doing this in the future. As you'll see, the focus is a required field. This can be whatever your focus is for this term. For today's call, I'm just going to label this as teacher pathway. And as we look further down, we can link this record to any of your key priorities. So if we do feel this teacher pathway does link back to any organisation objectives, I just need to click Show Details, View for the relevant priority, and tick the boxes that this links back to. As we scroll down the form, we'll see we have a couple of different tick boxes where I can highlight the phase, years, and/or subjects that link to my account. And to do so, I just need to tick the relevant boxes. For years and subject, as you see, I can tick multiple should I cover different year groups. And it's the same for subjects. As I scroll through, I can select those that I work within. If you do find that your subject isn't listed, you do have this other tick box, which all we ask is that when you tick other, you comment in the box below the subject that's missing. Now, as we scroll through the form, you'll notice it's broken down into 3 sections. And within those sections, you've got the subsections that we're going to be rating ourselves against based on the ratings and scorings and guidance. Under each section, you do have examples of evidence that can be included to support your outcomes. Initially, I'm just going to look through the lesson planning, read through this guidance, and make a judgment based on where I think I'm sitting at the moment. It's the same for all the additional subsections. What you will notice is when I hover over the different scorings, it does expand to highlight what the numbers relate to, pulling through the scoring from the guidance above. So again, considering the evidence and the guidance here, I will just select where I think I'm sitting. Once I've provided a response for all the curriculum intent, implementation, and impact, it will ask me then to provide an overall rating based on, my responses from the 6 sections above. Here is where I can also add some comments or evidence to back up where I think I'm falling or any areas of strengths. And then move on to the stakeholder engagement. This is where again you'll see examples of evidence that you can include or to support your findings, and the ratings follow the same 5-point score again. Got 1A, world class, strong practice, for 1B, consistent practice, requiring attention, or causing concern. So as I scroll through, I'm going to read through the guidance and just provide a response for each of the sections. And overall rating and comments. The last section, you've got the contribution to school priorities, with again a list of the evidence that can include to support your findings. Contribution to the whole school improvement, and then impact. Once I get down to the bottom, it does ask for an overall rating. You can see this encompasses the overall ratings with curriculum intent, implementations, and impact being a limited judgment. I can add comments again to support my findings, but provide that overall rating. So once I've filled in all my comment boxes and provided a response to each of the section, I can mark this as sort of complete and submit. What this will do is lock the record down and release the feedback. It will also be reportable to line managers and senior managers. If I do wish to save this in a draft mode so I can come back and edit at a later point, I can just click the save button and it will allow me to edit, add in any further comments, or amend my ratings if required. Please note, whilst it's in an unsubmitted state, your line managers and senior managers will still be able to see your feedback and self-reflection within reports. So I've submitted this, and this has now been released so I can see my overall ratings and my own personal feedback on my practices. Whilst we're on this page, I just want to highlight this Manage Evidence button. So when I click onto here, it will enable me to upload documents or links to support my finding and to support my comments that I've added. I can also link these back to my own personal objectives and any CPD that I maybe have undertaken following this self-reflection. Right at the bottom of the form, we do have our notes section, which within the notes I can add any further follow-up comments or information or action points. These notes are visible to our senior managers and line managers. They can also comment back to provide any further listings. So now that we've done a self-reflection, we're going to look at providing feedback to staff members that we line manage. So again, to complete the teacher pathway, I need to ensure that I'm within my home area. Navigate over to teacher pathway, but this time I'm going to be in teacher pathway by you. And then just in the top right, I'm going to create teacher pathway. In selecting the organization and the template that I'm working at, the main difference when we're doing it for someone rather than for ourselves in a self-reflection is I am required to select the individual. So when I click into this list, it will give me a drop down of your staff members. You can also type to narrow that list down for those organizations that have a large staff list. The width is optional. And as you can see, we're back to the date and the focus. Well, you will notice when you're providing the feedback to an individual, the form's content and feedback is exactly the same as to what you did your self-reflection on. So you've got the phase, year groups, and also your subjects. And this is where we get down to the sections of the curriculum intent, implementation and impact, and providing, the scoring based on these subsections. To provide the response to an individual, you just click on the coloured ball and the scoring based on where you think they're sitting after reading through the relevant guidance. So as mentioned earlier, when you're doing the self-reflections, it's 3 sections with 6 subsections underneath them, all linking back to this overarching rating. So on to stakeholder engagement. And then lastly, on to the contribution to the school priorities. Use these examples of evidence to support how you're providing feedback to the individual. Once again, you have the overall rating and comment box for you to combine all your information. And we can still save this in draft. Whilst it's in the draft mode, the individual that I've selected to provide the feedback to and the teacher pathway to, it won't be visible to them, but it will still be visible to yourself as the line manager and senior manager with reporting access. So to release the feedback to the individual for them to manage the records, upload any evidence, I need to click submit and save. Once again, we do have this manage evidence button, which allows me to upload documents or links whilst linking them to my own personal objectives and or CPD. So for those of you that are line managers or have admin and reporting access, there are a couple of reports you can run based on either the staff that you support or whole school if you have admin access. I'm just going to navigate into the admin area and imagine we're running this report for the whole school. So from here within admin, I'm just going to click on reports. And on the right hand side here, you'll see we've got the teacher pathway reports. Just to give you an overview, the totals report provides a numerical data on the number of records submitted for the individual, by the individual and with the individual. The teacher pathway report is a detailed overview that you can search by individual staff members, groups or whole school. This will provide you with a detailed overview of what ratings were selected, along with any comments to support the outcomes and overall ratings. And lastly, the teacher pathway visual report is a graphical representation of headline percentages based on overall score, the different sections, and outcomes. You can narrow this report down based on individual staff members, groups, or whole school. And running these is as simple as clicking on the report that you wish to run, selecting the teacher pathway from the template, updating the academic year. You can also select a custom date range if you wish to narrow this down to only see the first term or first 6 months of feedback. Here is where we can select the whole staff list, or if we wish to look at specific groups and subject areas, we can pick these groups to narrow it down to really analyze a specific group of your staff. When we're going through, I do want to highlight this self-teacher pathway, because by default it excludes the self-reflections. So if we want to include individuals' responses and their line managers, just need to update this drop-down to include self-teacher pathways. And when I click submit, this visual report will run, providing me an overall score, breakdown of the percentages and what's been selected. And then as we can see, I can see the different sections that we were providing responses for overall. This you can export into a CSV or PDF, but we can also run the detailed report by clicking View as Report. You can see this will provide us with the ratings and any comments that maybe have been added to the comment sections. So that concludes everything from today's guide. I do just want to highlight our support at email address down in the footer. If you do have any queries, please feel free to reach out to us on that support at blueskyeducation.co.uk. We do also have our Knowledge and Support Centre with short tutorials to guide you through your access, which these are accessible by clicking on the help button in the top right. Hope you found the guide useful, but please do reach out to us if there's anything else we can support with, and look forward to catching up with some of you soon. Thank you.